everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been some time. I thought I would just share a little story, I guess, with you because I have a lot of people asking me questions, mainly on my illness of ulcerative colitis. As most of you know that watch my channel, that there is no cure for ulcerative colitis, and I have found some things out this past month because I did have a situation where I had to go to the hospital for my colitis because I didn't realize what was going on in my life. So I'm just going to recap from my other videos super quick just so you kind of know where I was left off with ulcerative colitis. So I was seeing a doctor in Connecticut for quite some time because I didn't know anything about my illness. So I saw him. So when I was diagnosed 5 years ago, I was under the care of him, and you know, I didn't really know anything about the illness at the time. Like I didn't really know a lot of information about it. I just knew it was an incurable chronic disease and it flared up sometimes and it sucked, and you can eat certain things during the flare. But a lot has changed since then. He basically always wanted to give me prednisone, which is not going to help anything except for when I'm in a severe flare-up, and it's good for anti-inflammatory purposes and to get me into remission, but I also needed other medication. Now, every time I saw him, he would give me this medicine, the prednisone, and I decided to take an alternate route, which was medical marijuana. Now, what I did not realize was that because the doctor didn't tell me this, and I've tried to ask him for medical marijuana on top of prednisone, and he's like, no, that's not a good idea, blah, blah, blah. And he just like wasn't very nice or informative, so hence why I don't see him anymore and what has happened since then. So I did take it upon myself to go see a doctor who gave me the medical marijuana, and I was fine for, you know, a few years and whatnot. You know, while just taking the medical marijuana, I wasn't taking anything else. I wasn't taking Azicol. I wasn't taking prednisone because, I mean, I didn't know, and I had a doctor that didn't tell me, so how would I know? So I just wanted to get better and figure it out for myself, and the marijuana for a certain amount of time was helping me. And until very recently, I was very sick. I want to say for about a month, I was feeling not so great, and then right before and during Christmas and the New Year, right before Christmas, I thought I was coming down with the flu. And the reason I thought I was coming down with the flu is because I was having a fever for about 2 weeks straight. I was going to the bathroom. I just was feeling, you know, some days I would feel okay, and then other days I would be really tired. It was really hard for me to gain energy and just live about my normal day. And I finally said, you know, I think it was around, what day? It was around the New Year. I don't remember the exact dates. But I went to the hospital and I was like, I don't know what's going on. I think I have the flu. You know, I don't know. I've been sick for 2 weeks. I'm not getting any better. I thought I had pneumonia at that time. Like, I just wasn't getting better. My diet was horrible. So what had ended up happening was, you know, they ran all these tests. They did a bunch of blood work. They did a stool sample after the fact that they tested me for the flu. And then they treated me with antibiotics. And they treated me just in case I was septic. So that was a very stressful, hard day when, you know, you don't know exactly what's going on. And then they wanted to keep me in the hospital. And I was there for 7 days in the hospital, but I didn't find out what was wrong until the 3rd day in. And they're like, you have, you know, because I had ended up having a colonoscopy. And that's when they're like, you have an extreme ulcerative colitis flare up, your intestinal lining is basically separating from your intestines. It was really bad, very painful to go through, you know, just even the bowel movements, as most people know, going through that, it's a painful pain. It's awful. So while I was in the hospital, because they wanted to keep me, while they were doing tests, they were doing blood work every day to make sure, you know, everything was okay. My white blood cell count was all right. You know, just everything checked out, and the medicine, because they started me on IV steroids, and then they went over my options as far as medication. So what I ended up doing, because they did mention having the surgery, which I do not want to do, and she said it wasn't severe enough. I shouldn't say that. It wasn't to the point where I needed the surgery, because I haven't had that many flare-ups that were that bad. I've only had 2 in my life, and one was the first time that I ever got ulcerative colitis, and this was the second time a few years later. So I ended up taking the Remicade treatments, which are infusions. So you do 3 starters. So one time I had it in the hospital when I was there, and then you get another one 2 weeks later, and then 3 weeks later, and then I believe it's 4 weeks for the 3, and then every 6 to 8 weeks you go to the doctor and get an infusion. So that's that. So that's what was happening. I had, like I said, blood work done every day. I had the IV in my arm every day. It was a very difficult time to be in the hospital alone. Well, not alone. I shouldn't say alone, because my family came to see me, and, you know, my boyfriend stayed with me, and luckily we lived right down the street from the hospital, so he wasn't far away. So I meant alone as in, you know, when people leave and you're alone in the hospital with no one else, it's kind of, you know, it makes you think a little bit differently about your life and how you plan on living your life. And, you know, now that I'm out of the hospital, they gave me a week to recover. So basically, I was out of work for 4 weeks. Now I'm back at work and everything's fine. They had me taking prednisone 10 milligrams, 4 tablets a day, and then tapering. And then I'm on the Azocol still, and I'm taking 800 milligrams 3 times a day. And the Remicade. And I'm also still smoking the medical marijuana, but you can't just rely on that, on medical marijuana. Don't do what I did, because I was misinformed and I paid for it way later. I'm also, you know, since I got out of the hospital, you know, obviously I'm on a lot of medicine, so I have a couple of side effects. Like, I've been having a rash. I don't know if that's from like the Remicade, but it's like all these little dots. Where the IV was in my arm, I get the pain in my hand. I don't know if they hit a nerve or what really happened with that, but I am an esthetician for a living, and I massage people, so at the end of the day my hand just goes like stiff. And ever since I had the IV in my arm, that's what's been happening. And you know, because I'm on the steroids, though, it does, you know, give me energy, and I'm able to eat. So, which is great, because I lost 18 pounds while I was very sick, and I can't really afford to lose that weight because I'm already skinny. So definitely the prednisone has helped with my appetite. And while I was in the hospital, I was on an all liquid diet at first, because they couldn't figure out what, you know, they wanted to play it safe and then move you up to low fiber, like low residue foods, which I'm still kind of doing, and introducing, you know, fiber slowly. So what I'm doing to improve my lifestyle and my diet is I'm actually keeping a journal of the foods that I eat. I'm keeping a fitness journal just so I can gain that weight back and build more muscle, because exercise is really good, and I was exercising before, but the thing is, because when you have ulcerative colitis, your body doesn't absorb nutrients the same way a healthy person's colon would. So you need to do a little bit extra as far as absorbing the nutrients. Like I basically was depleting myself at the gym, and I didn't realize it because I just thought that was the normal way I went to the bathroom and things like that. Like I just didn't know. So back to the diet, which is fine. I'm okay with the diet that I have, because it's mostly fish, chicken. It's actually weird because I can't have like seeds, which is all right. I don't really care for seeds anyway. Certain things I don't eat anyway, like spicy. And everyone's different. This is just my diet and what has been working for me so far. I'm going to actually see a nutritionist at the end of the month. This is just what the hospital has told me to eat so far. I do know that because someone with colitis can't absorb B12 properly, I have been eating like a lot of sardines, for example, to get the B12, because I am unsure what vitamin B12 to go with until I speak to the nutritionist further on that. I just really do not want to jeopardize putting my body through anything. And I think the other reason why I flared up so bad is because since I did move to Mass, there were a couple hardships that I had that was causing stress for me, and that's just life, and I had to deal with it, and everything ended up working out. I'm very happy with where I am right now. I'm very happy with my boyfriend, and he's stayed with me, and he's really helped me quite a bit through all of this, and I'm thankful for that. It's just certain things in life happen, and you have to deal with it, and that's the situation. And I wasn't eating a good diet either. I was eating pretty much everything I shouldn't be eating. For example, coffee I would drink all the time, and I'm not saying that would bother anyone else, but part of ulcerative colitis, like part of that plan that I have for eating, is no coffee and no alcohol. So I would assume would be about the same for everyone, and you can introduce it slowly. Like, I've had a couple sips of coffee, but I've never had a whole cup since I've been out of the hospital. Like, I've really been maintaining my diet. I eat 5 times a day if I can, or more, just to keep my body going. And like I said, I want to gain the weight, and the steroids make you kind of like starving. Plus, I work 2 jobs, so I'm burning a lot of energy. I'm walking a lot at one job, and I'm massaging people for hours at the other job. So it's like, I work almost every day, so I need to like eat. So nothing so far that I've eaten that they've told me to eat has bothered me, and right now I'm back to normal bowel movements where they're not liquid, and it's so great. It's so awesome. The only complaints I have would be like my hand, and because I am taking the steroids, well, now I'm tapered down to 2 10-milligram pills a day, so just 2 tablets. So I just changed on Sunday, and then I'll taper again next Sunday to 10, and then after that week I'll be done. So in about 2 weeks I'll be done with the steroids, but maintaining the Remicade and the Azicol, and I'm still smoking marijuana, which does help me with sleeping. Because the steroids, I like have a time in my mind where I always wake up at like 3 in the morning, and then I fall back asleep until 6 in the morning, and then I kind of get up and I start cleaning, and I don't know, just that whole process and situation has really opened my eyes to colitis, and I just wanted to share my story with everyone, and maybe this will help you a little bit better to understand, or you know, what you can do to help. I know, like I said, I'm a very organized person, so when it comes to these things, I want to know, you know, if I can look back and write down something that I had that day at a certain time, what bothered me. Like, I want to know exactly the foods that are going to bother me. And it's been working so far. I don't know if it's because the steroids, like once I'm off the steroids, it may be a different story. I don't know. That's, like I said, I can make another video when I do see the nutritionist at the end of February. I will continue to make these videos because I myself am just going through this for the first time. I don't know any, the only thing I know about Remicade is it's helping me, and I could potentially, you know, get certain cancers and tuberculosis, and I have a very low immune system right now, which is, you know, they do say that in the hospital you have a low immune system, but yet I've never really gotten very ill while I've had colitis, or even before. I'm just not a person that gets sick. Like, I'll get a cold every now and then, but now that they put that in my mind, I'm like constantly have hand sanitizer at work because you just never know, and I deal with the public all day, so it's difficult. I deal with a lot of infections on people's face from acne. I deal with a lot of sick kids at work, you know, things like that. People are disgusting sometimes. But, you know, I am now, you know, very stress-free. I know it doesn't seem that way because of all this situation, but I have a more positive mindset on things, and not that I didn't before, but I just think a little bit differently than maybe the average person. You know, I'm a lot more calm. I just don't want to stress myself out, and I don't let anything stress me out. I'm pretty easygoing, and, you know, that's also been helping me. And I only, you know, it's not because I'm high. I only smoke weed at night to go to bed, or if I have the day off, or, you know, if I'm not doing anything, because I wouldn't be able to be that way and go to work. I'm not one of those people who can be high and go to work or drive, which is fine with me because I only need it at night to sleep, to calm my mind and just, you know, make your mind blank is, I guess, what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying to think if I have anything else that I could say that I've missed. But yeah, I do think that anyone just starting out with ulcerative colitis, you need to get a really good doctor that knows their shit, and ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I ask questions all the time. I don't care if they're stupid or not. I just don't care about those kinds of things because it's your body and you need to know what's going on. Because I made that mistake, just, you know, I wasn't the stupid one because you know, someone says you have a chronic illness for the rest of your life. What? I don't know what questions to ask. Like, aren't you supposed to tell me everything? Thankfully that doctor is now retired and he's in Connecticut and I don't live there anymore, and I see better doctors, an actual specialist, a nutritionist. I see a primary doctor. What else? I still am technically under the care of the hospital, so if I ever had to go back and ask questions, I can. So I have a few doctors that I can rely on for actual information. Also, if you wanted to look up anything on, you know, your diet and whatnot, you can always look online, because they tell you sometimes you can eat whatever you want on prednisone, and that is not true. It's just, that's not true. That doesn't make any sense at all because you are in the process of healing. So why would you want to take something that before bothered you to upset everything? Like, I would not go drinking any coffee even now, and I'm, you know, getting better. I still wouldn't drink a whole cup of coffee. Nothing like that. I'm pretty much sticking to chicken and fish, and I'm okay with that. Red meat is very hard for us to digest. It's a little bit rougher on the body, you know, you could do pork. I don't really like red meat that much. I know I'm like weird with that stuff anyway, so it doesn't bother me like the diet that I'm on because I'm learning, like I've learned how to cook so much better since then. I basically watched cooking shows all day long in the hospital. I watched how to cook, like I was watching Gordon Ramsay, so I was like, yep, I'm gonna know exactly how to cook when I get out of here. Not that I didn't know how to cook before, but I just know how to cook better for myself, healthier, which is good because it's gonna help me build muscle when I start to go back to the gym. And now I can actually absorb the nutrients and gain the muscle that I need. And I'm excited for that. I'm probably gonna wait a little bit longer because I am still like weak in my knees and in my back. I can definitely feel it when I'm working, and that could be the steroids. It could be a lot of different things. I don't know. I just know what I feel, and I don't want to overstress myself. That's the other thing, is if I worked like 8 hours or 9 hours the day before, I won't do anything the next day on my day off. I won't overstress it because I don't want the adverse side effects of anything. So if I think of anything else, I will definitely make another video. I know I'm going to make one, like I said, on my food journals. I could do a vlog of my shopping that I do because I buy some interesting food. Most of it is fish, and I'm okay with eating that every single day, 5 times a day, with Brussels sprouts and pasta. That's like my meals, and it's nice. And I just noticed, like, I know the prednisone makes like your everything different because my skin is super dry right now, and I'm oily. Like I have oily skin, and I'm just dry, and I don't like it. And it makes your face a little bit poofed. So that's why I have like chipmunk cheeks right now. All these medicines, it's crazy, but you need them because they help. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end the video here. If anyone has any questions or comments, just leave them down below. I will respond to you. All right? Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope that it helped you. Bye, guys.